All right, so get this. Today we are going deep, like deep, into the heart of Brazil, São Paulo.
Ooh, exciting.
Right. And we're talking way more than just like those chill beach towns. Okay, this city, it's got this pulse, this energy. You can practically hear it, even from miles away.
I've heard that.
So we're diving into this cultural whirlwind, an art scene that'll like blow your mind. And the food, oh man, the food's so good. They earned the title. Wait for it. World's gastronomy capital.
Wow, world's gastronomy capital.
That's a pretty big deal. That is a big deal. And we are going to uncover everything that makes this South American giant tick. You ready?
Oh, absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay, so I've been doing some reading, and São Paulo isn't just diverse. It's like a fusion reactor of global influences.
Yeah.
Seriously, we're talking centuries of immigration from like Italy, Japan, Portugal, the Arab world, and beyond, and it's all woven into this city.
It's not just something you see, right?
No, you taste it, you hear it, you feel it, like everywhere you go.
I can only imagine.
So I'm already picturing like a street lined with trattorias next to sushi bars, pastel areas, oh, and maybe even a shisha lounge, all within a few blocks.
Right, all right there together.
Yeah, but hold on, it's not just about like separate little enclaves, right? It's how all of these cultures have like collided and created something totally new and different.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So think about it. You might stumble upon a pizzeria serving up a Brazilian twist on a margarita pizza.
Uh-huh.
Maybe they throw in some heart of palm to give it that local touch.
I love heart of palm.
Me too. Or imagine wandering into a Japanese restaurant and they're like incorporating Amazonian fruits into their sushi rolls.
Oh,
I know. São Paulo's like fusion on a whole other level.
that's incredible.
Now hold up. Before we get too lost in our foodie fantasies, remember the killer art scene too?
Oh, right.
So we've got the famous São Paulo Museum of Art, MASP, holding down the fort with all those masterpieces, you know, from all around the world, Picasso's, that kind of thing. But then there's this whole other world of street art just exploding in neighborhoods like Vila Madalena.
Oh, wow. So you've got this huge contrast.
Exactly. And that contrast is what makes São Paulo's art scene so dynamic.
I see.
So imagine you could spend all morning at MASP, you know, surrounded by Picasso's and Van Goghs, soaking up all that artistic tradition. Then in the afternoon, bam, you're wandering down Bico do Batman.
Bico do Batman.
It's this alleyway that's been totally transformed into an open-air gallery,
cool.
full of these vibrant, ever-changing graffiti murals. It's like stepping between two totally different artistic universes in just an afternoon.
That's wild.
Oh, and speaking of MASP, get this, the building itself is like a work of art.
Really?
Yeah. So the main structure, it's this massive glass and concrete box, but it's literally suspended above the ground.
What?
I know. It's like the building's defying gravity, which honestly seems kind of fitting for a city that pushes all the boundaries.
It really does.
Right. And so you can walk underneath the building and it feels like you're in this open public space, but with art just floating above you.
Wow.
And it's like the perfect embodiment of São Paulo's spirit. Bold, innovative, and totally unafraid to break the mold.
I love that.
Okay, back to the food. I can't help myself.
Uh-huh.
World's gastronomy capital. That's a title that needs its own deep dive, right?
Absolutely.
So the municipal market, known locally as the Mercadão, is a must visit.
I've heard of it.
I'm hearing whispers of legendary codfish pastries, pastel de bacalhau.
Oh, yum.
Imagine. Like flaky pastry, creamy codfish, potatoes, herbs, all that goodness.
My mouth is watering already.
Plus they have these mortadella sandwiches that are apparently stacked a mile high.
No way.
Seriously. The Mercadão is like this sensory overload in the best possible way.
I can imagine.
So just picture it. Okay, you walk into this massive market. It's bustling. And you're hit with this aroma of fresh baked bread, exotic fruits, and spices you've never even heard of.
Oh, yeah.
There are stalls piled high with everything from local cheeses and cured meats to those iconic mile-high mortadella sandwiches.
Those sandwiches.
And we're not talking your average deli fare here.
Right.
This is like artisanal bread, mortadella sliced paper thin, maybe a touch of mustard, just like a symphony of simple ingredients done right.
That sounds incredible.
Okay, so we've got MASP for our art fix,
Yeah.
Vila Madalena for the street art and bohemian vibes, and the Mercadão for the food coma I'm definitely going to slip into.
You and me both.
But where are we actually hanging out when we're not, you know, hopping between museums and markets? Like, where do we go to really get a feel for the soul of the city?
Well, São Paulo is like a city of neighborhoods, each with its own unique personality.
That's what I've heard.
So if you need a break from the hustle and bustle of the city, there's Ibirapuera Park.
Oh, tell me more about this park.
Imagine lush greenery, peaceful lakes, even museums tucked away among the trees. There's a real sense of calm there.
I love that.
And you've got the Museum of Modern Art and the Afro-Brazil Museum right there. So it's perfect for a dose of culture, but without the city frenzy.
A little bit of tranquility.
Exactly.
I love that idea. A little tranquility amidst all the chaos.
Mm.
But let's be real. I also need that, like, bohemian hipster energy.
I see.
Where do I go for that São Paulo cool kid vibe?
Oh, Vila Madalena, hands down.
Vila Madalena, okay.
It's a haven for artists, musicians, anyone who wants to escape the ordinary.
I like it already.
You'll find quirky cafes, independent bookstores, and vintage shops, all with that creative energy.
Awesome.
And of course, there's that incredible street art scene, so every corner feels like a living canvas.
Oh, I can't wait to see that.
You'll love it.
Okay, so art, nature, hipster havens. I feel like we're hitting all the bases.
We are.
But we can't talk about São Paulo without mentioning, like, one of its most fascinating cultural gems, right?
Oh, which one?
Liberdade.
Ah, yes.
The largest Japanese community outside of Japan.
It really is an incredible experience. Imagine walking down Rua Galvão Bueno and suddenly, bam, you're in Tokyo.
Real.
Traditional Japanese lanterns are lighting up the street. You smell ramen and yakitori in the air, and shops are overflowing with manga, anime, and all those adorable Hello Kitty plushies.
No way. Wait, does that mean, like, I can find authentic Japanese sweets there, too?
Absolutely.
I'm talking mochi, dango, all those delicate little treats I'm obsessed with.
All of it. And here's the kicker. You'll find traditional Japanese confectionaries in Liberdade that use Brazilian fruits in their mochi, like guava and passion fruit.
Whoa, a fusion dessert.
Exactly, creating this unique treat you won't find anywhere else.
That's amazing.
It really shows how São Paulo takes these different cultures and blends them into something totally new and delicious.
Okay, that's it. I'm booking a flight right now.
Uh-huh.
I mean, seriously, we've only, like, scratched the surface, and I'm already hooked.
There's just so much to discover.
But hold on, there's more to this city than just the, big name attractions.
Of course.
So tell me, what are some of those hidden gems, those under-the-radar spots that only a true Paulista would know about?
Well, for starters, if you really want to dive deep into Brazilian art, there's the Pinacoteca de São Paulo.
Okay, tell me about it.
It's housed in this beautiful historic building.
Cool.
And they have a mind-blowing collection of Brazilian art from the 19th century all the way to today.
Wow.
It's a chance to understand how Brazilian artistic expression has evolved over time.
Like it.
And honestly, it's often overlooked by tourists who tend to just flock to MASP.
So it's a hidden gem. I'm taking notes.
Definitely add it to your list.
Okay, what about architecture? Anything we should be sure to see?
Oh, well, you can't go wrong with the São Paulo Cathedral.
The cathedral, okay.
It's one of the largest cathedrals in Brazil and an amazing example of neo-Gothic architecture.
Nice.
It's got these incredible stained glass windows, towering spires. The whole thing is just like breathtaking.
I'm sensing a theme here. São Paulo does everything on a grand scale.
They do, from the art to the food, even the architecture.
And we can't forget about, Brazil's other obsession.
What's that?
Football.
Ah, of course.
Any recommendations for us sports fanatics?
You have to check out the Football Museum. It's located at the iconic Pacaembu Stadium.
The football museum, all right.
And it's not just about trophies and memorabilia.
No.
It's a celebration of how important football is to Brazilian culture.
I see.
You can learn about the legendary players, the passionate fans. You'll see how football is practically a religion in Brazil.
I can only imagine. Okay, this is all amazing, but honestly, thinking about navigating a megacity like São Paulo is, I'm not going to lie, a little daunting.
It can seem that way.
So give it to me straight. What's the lowdown on transportation, safety, all the practical stuff?
Okay, well, first of all, don't worry. São Paulo is actually very traveler friendly.
Okay, good.
It has a really great public transportation system.
Nice.
Especially the metro, which makes getting around pretty easy.
Okay, the metro. Got it.
Yeah. And of course, there's always taxis and ride shares if you prefer.
And what about the language barrier?
Well, Portuguese is the official language, but you'll find that a lot of people in tourist areas speak English.
That's good to know.
As for safety, it's like any big city. Just be aware of your surroundings. Stick to well-lit, populated areas, especially at night.
Right. Be smart, be safe.
Exactly.
Okay, that's reassuring. So we've covered the cultural fusion, the art scene, the foodie paradise. the hidden gems, even some practical tips. I feel like I've gotten a crash course in São Paulo's DNA.
It's quite a city.
It really is. So you've heard it here first, folks. São Paulo is calling your name, and it's time to answer. But before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to know, what's resonated with you most so far?
That's a good question. You know, what really strikes me is how São Paulo manages to be both a global city and a deeply Brazilian one at the same time.
Oh, interesting.
Like, it embraces influences from all over the world, right? But it never loses that distinct Brazilian spirit, that warmth, that energy, that zest for life.
It's like they found a way to have the best of both worlds.
Exactly. It's a fascinating paradox.
Yeah, it's like they cracked the code for being a true melting pot.
Right. They really did.
Taking the best of everything and like weaving it into something totally unique and new. But what you said about that Brazilian spirit, that really hits home for me.
Yeah.
It's something I've noticed in like other parts of Brazil too. This infectious joy, this like sense of community that just pulls you in.
And it's funny, right? Because you wouldn't necessarily expect that in a city with like over 12 million people.
No, you wouldn't.
You'd think it'd be all hustle and bustle and, you know, everyone just lost in their own world. But São Paulo seems to like defy that.
They do. It's
Yeah.
like they've managed to create this intimacy within all that vastness.
Yeah, I see that.
These little pockets of connection amidst all that urban sprawl. And maybe that's what makes it so appealing, you know,
What do you mean?
that you can find your tribe, your community, even in a city that feels larger than life.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, that ties back to what we were talking about earlier about the neighborhoods.
Uh-huh.
Each one with its own distinct flavor, its own personality.
Exactly.
It's not just one giant, overwhelming city. It's like a collection of smaller communities all coming together.
Right, each offering a different slice of the São Paulo experience.
Oh,
Okay, so let's say someone's like a little intimidated by the idea of tackling a mega city like this.
it can be a little overwhelming.
What's the best way to approach São Paulo? Any advice for a first-timer?
I'd say embrace the diversity.
Embrace the diversity. Okay,
Don't try to see everything all at once.
right.
Pick a few neighborhoods that really speak to you, that match your interests, and then really dive in.
I like that.
Spend a day, you know, getting lost in the art scene in Vila Madalena.
Uh-huh.
Explore that culinary wonderland in Liberdade.
Right, all those delicious smells.
Or just soak up the tranquility in Ibirapuera Park.
That sounds lovely.
Give yourself a chance to, like, get a feel for the rhythm of each neighborhood, to connect with the people and the culture on a more personal level.
It's not about checking off a list of landmarks.
No, not at all.
It's about really immersing yourself in the experience, letting the city reveal itself to you one neighborhood at a time.
Exactly. And that's where the magic really happens.
You get those unexpected encounters, those hidden gems you just wouldn't find if you were rushing from one tourist trap to the next.
That's what makes it memorable, right?
Totally. It's about slowing down, paying attention, and being open to whatever comes your way.
So true.
Maybe you end up having a conversation with a local at a cafe, and they tell you about this secret street art spot no one knows about.
I love when that happens.
Me too. Or you wander into like a tiny family-run restaurant and end up having the best meal of your life.
The best.
Those are the moments you remember, the moments that make a trip unforgettable.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm sold. São Paulo is officially at the top of my travel bucket list.
I knew you'd love it.
But before we send everyone rushing to book their flights, let's do a quick recap of what we've learned. All the incredible things that make this city so dynamic.
Okay, let's do it.
So we started by exploring that fascinating fusion of cultures, right?
Right.
That mix of Italian, Japanese, Portuguese, and Arab influences, all blended with that distinct Brazilian flair. That's what makes São Paulo so unique.
It really does.
And then we dove into that amazing art scene,
That's right.
contrasting those masterpieces at MASP with the ever-evolving street art of Beco do Batman, showcasing the traditional and the cutting edge.
It's such a cool mix.
And how can we forget the food? We practically drooled over the thought of pastel de bacalhau, those legendary codfish pastries, and those towering mortadella sandwiches at the Mercadão. Just a tiny taste of what awaits in the world's gastronomy capital.
Just a taste.
And we even ventured beyond those tourist hotspots, right?
We did.
Uncovering hidden gems like the Pinacoteca de São Paulo, the stunning São Paulo Cathedral, and the football museum for all the sports fanatics out there.
A little something for everyone.
And of course, we gave you all those practical tips you need to navigate this mega city. Transportation, safety, everything to make sure you have a smooth and enjoyable trip.
We tried to cover it all.
But here's the thing, remember, All of this is just the starting point.
It is.
The real journey begins when you actually step foot in São Paulo, when you feel that energy on the streets, when you connect with the people, when you let yourself get swept away by the spirit of this incredible city.
It's about going beyond the guidebooks and expectations, right?
Exactly. And discovering the soul of the city for yourself.
I love that.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, we want to leave you with a question to ponder.
Okay.
What aspect of São Paulo calls to you the most?
What really sparks your curiosity?
Is it the allure of the unknown? The thrill of discovering a hidden alleyway, bursting with color and creativity?
Maybe it's the food.
Yeah, the promise of all those culinary adventures, the chance to experience flavors you've never tasted before.
Or maybe it's the people.
Right, the chance to connect with a culture that embraces diversity and celebrates life with a passion that's just contagious.
It's different for everyone. And you don't need to have everything planned out perfectly to enjoy São Paulo.
Right.
Sometimes the best things you discover happen when you kind of wander off the beaten path.
Oh, yeah.
When you just let yourself get a little lost in all those streets and alleyways.
That's what I'm talking about. That sense of exploration, uncovering the unexpected. That's what excites me most about São Paulo.
Yeah.
I want to, stumble upon a cafe tucked away in a courtyard or find some vintage shop overflowing with treasures from who knows when.
I get it.
It's all about those little moments, those hidden gems. That's what makes a place come alive,
Exactly. And São Paulo is a city that rewards that kind of curiosity.
Totally.
It encourages you to embrace the unknown, to try new things, and to just step outside your comfort zone.
So true. Okay, so as we wrap up our deep dive into São Paulo, I want to leave our listeners with a little challenge.
Ooh, I like it.
Don't just dream about visiting this amazing city. Actually take action.
Yes.
Start planning that trip, even if it's just like a mental itinerary for now.
A mental vacation.
Exactly. Research the neighborhoods that, grab your attention. Bookmark those restaurants that make your mouth water.
I'm already hungry.
Me too. But most importantly, remember that travel isn't just about the destination. It's about the whole journey.
It really is.
It's about being open to new experiences, new perspectives, new ways of seeing the world.
So true.
And hey, who knows? Maybe we'll bump into each other in São Paulo someday.
That would be awesome.
Sharing a pastel de bacalhau at the Mercadão.
Or maybe checking out the street art in Vila Madalena.
Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into this amazing world around us.
I'm ready for the next adventure.